Hi, how's it going, everybody? Today we're playing Battlefront 2015, which is a game I haven't touched in a long time. And I had the idea recently, could I beat all 4 base game survival maps without shooting a gun? So, that's what we're going to try today. I ended up picking the revolver because it looks cool. It doesn't matter about the stats because we're not actually going to use it for that. I ended up picking the ion torpedo, jump pack, and personal shield package because all around this gives us some really good tools to use. And after crash landing, I spawn in and get to it. First up, we come against a bunch of normal troopers. These guys only take 1 punch, so it's super easy. You just run up, kind of dodge as many bullets as you can. You'll see me weaving in and out of cover a lot because your health does drop pretty quick. So I chased this guy all the way around, and once I caught up to him, I ended up bashing his face in along with his buddies. You can see me dodging in and out of cover because it's the best strategy. Your shield does recharge, but it takes forever. So I crouch behind this rock, wait for it to charge back up a little, and just sprint in, and that's the end of wave 1. I start off wave 2 by picking up 2 charge capsules, which gives us shield charges for our personal shield, and punch a few guys. This is the heavy trooper, the first time we're seeing him. He ends up taking 8 punches to take down, which is actually kind of outrageous, and you're really vulnerable when you're doing that. So I end up jumping down, Superman punching this guy in the face, flanking back around, and taking the 2v1. Now the normal troopers can throw grenades as well, as you just saw. And as you can see right there, I just did a jumping punch. This is super good because a lot of the time they miss you when you're airborne. But I capture a pod and fire at a chicken walker, and I hit the rock, which really sucked. But eventually I waited for the power-ups to spawn, and I got a personal squad shield, which I ended up placing down, which allowed me to grab the smart rocket. And I pull that out, hit him once, and switch to my ion torpedo again after getting a blaster cannon. But I placed down the blaster cannon because it's useless to us, because it's a gun. So I lock on again, shoot him with the EMP, and jump back out of there to try to regain my bearings and wait for the ion to charge. Once I get it charged for a 3rd time, I end up killing him. And I grab an extra life at the start of the next wave and charge a heavy. I activate the personal shield here because I didn't want to get shot by the other troopers while I'm punching this guy. Because 8 shots, dude, I'm telling you, holy, that's abysmal. But we end up meeting a sniper on the next wave, wave 4. And I end up sprinting away because I get overwhelmed. And I try to get them to come to me. And once they get close enough, I just start hammering them with everything I have. A lot of punching. And not in the later maps that I'm gonna do, we'll start having more offensive options, but for this one, all I can do is punch. So just go crazy on them, man. After taking out that group of enemies, I'm kind of vulnerable, so I dodge back around, refill my health, and then go back at it. And I jump down to take out the sniper, but he's a coward, so he runs out of the map away from me, and I end up not being able to get to him. So I sprint away, regroup, jump pack behind him, and then punch him. And when you get close enough to the snipers, they actually switch off their sniper and pick out a burst fire AR. But I grab 2 more shield charges and keep on punching the normal guys, kind of breaking them away from the rest so I can pick my fights. And jump back up to this guy, punch him in the face, and get his buddy flanks me around the corner. After this, I come across a group of 5, and this is where we see the jump pack troopers. So I kill all the loose fodder and regroup before they can kill me. And once I jump back up to them, I take out a couple more. And these jump pack troopers, they can only fly for a short time. So once they land, it takes 2 punches to kill them. So I clean all these guys up, and just like that, we're on to wave 6. So a chicken walker spawns in, so I decide to take out as many troopers as I can first. And another pod also landed in here. So I activate my shield, take out a jump trooper, and I try to stick out the heavy with all 8 hits. Somehow, by the grace of God, I survived, even though there was a chicken walker pushing me. And I head towards a drop pod, take out a couple more troopers, and I hide here, trying to survive. And I end up capturing the pod fully, luckily, and push these guys up here. After that, I just kind of wait to capture this. So I get to defend it. End up changing my mind and punching this guy anyways. And by this time, there's only 3 enemies left. So I clean this guy up, bring it down to 2, and hide behind this pod. Unfortunately, though, my health ends up getting so low that I make a break for it, and by the time I flank around, they've captured the pod. Enemy troopers can capture the pod, and if you don't get it in time, you lose the pod, so you have to recapture it every time that they've captured it. So, I end up killing this sniper, using this pod as cover and EMPing this guy whenever possible, and eventually the power up spawn, and I get a vehicle turret, which is huge, and the next power up ends up being a thermal imploder, which is also massive for us. So I throw it at him and blow up the chicken walker, and after that, wave 6 is done. We also get an orbital strike, which is the best thing in the game. And I pick up another life and kind of hold this high ground and rush all these guys. I pop my shield whenever possible if I get overwhelmed and get a nice little one tap on this sniper. I discovered that hits to the back actually do double damage. So if you hit a heavy trooper with 4 back shots, he just dies. I actually popped a shield while I was rushing this guy, and you can see he fully depletes it by the time I even get to him. But I try to reenact that strategy by getting some back shots in on him, and he ends up dropping like a fly. I end up turning the corner, getting ambushed by these guys, taking them out, advancing us to wave 8. And I grab a couple capsules and just go head on with them. This is the first time we're seeing the rocket trooper. They have RPGs that can lock onto you from anywhere across the map. So those things are really annoying, but I end up biting off more than I can chew. So I flank around, and when able, I end up taking them out. And honestly, the most annoying enemy of this playthrough to me might have been the jump trooper, because a lot of the time they're so high up, you have to wait for them to drop down before you can do anything to them. So I end up killing that guy, jumping down, getting a quick little assassination on this fella, and this brings us to wave 9. But getting a quick bag in, I go to capture the next pod, capture it for myself, and then just wait around for the enemies to show up. Once I do, I grab a couple more pods, and when I turn to my left, I'm being rushed by a chicken walker and a couple guys. So I jump back away and place on the aerial strike, hoping it'll take a bunch out. And as I'm running away, it takes out one, and I get an EMP shot off. Not very good. I was hoping for a lot better, but I flank back around, get a couple more kills, and since they've captured the pod, I jump back down to grab it, and hopefully I could get back to it in time. Luckily I did, but they were rushing me from all sides, and so I decided to flank around and kill them once they showed up again. But they ended up recapturing the pod for a second time. So after killing all these guys, I ran all the way back and captured it once again. As soon as I captured it again, I turned to my right, saw a heavy trooper, and decided to push him. So I got an ion shot off on the walker, and then jumped back up there to deal with him. Chased him down for a little bit and just started whack-a-moling him. Now, after punching this heavy trooper 8 times, I ran away, thinking he was dead. But it turns out he somehow survived and had a punch left, so it took 9 punches to kill that guy, which caused me to lose the pod yet again. But after recapturing it, I launched another ion shot and waited for the walker to come after me. Hit it with a couple more ions, and by this time, the pod actually finished, so I grabbed some power-ups, ended up getting a vehicle turret, placed that down immediately. Grabbed another one, got a proximity bomb, which I threw down, and the last power up ended up being a thermal imploder, which is huge. So I ended up getting one last ion shot on that ATST, grabbed the extra life, and as they started the next wave, they immediately hit my proximity bomb. I punched a couple others, ended up getting caught off guard by a stormtrooper as I was trying to hide, so I dealt with him and then went straight after a heavy. There was one on my back shooting my shield, so I know how to be quick about this. I could also see sniper shots whizzing by me. So I finished off the heavy and regrouped, taking out a couple more. And after this, I decided to go after the sniper. So as he was running away from me, I jumped back over to him and quickly took him out. This left me one-on-one with a shadow trooper. Now, these guys go invisible and do crazy damage. They can two-shot you with their gun. So I rush him head on, and it turns out it takes 6 punches to kill him. So after that, we go straight into wave 11. I end up spawning on a whole squad of them, so I just take them out as fast as I can. I rushed up top of the cliff to try to take out as many as I could, but they ended up throwing grenades as well as having a shadow trooper right there. So I flanked around, grabbed 2 charges, and then met back up with them to take them out. And after finishing up the shadow trooper, this brings us into wave 12. I started it off by running away from an ATST that was locking onto me, and I ran to capture the pod. As soon as I captured the pod, I ended up getting bum rushed by a whole bunch more of them, so I fought for my life. I saw a trooper run in to disable the pod, so I met him halfway and stopped him before he could do it. After that, I just kind of waited for the jump troopers to land. I actually tried jumping up to punch him, which I found out you actually could do. So with this new strategy in mind, it's going to be a lot easier. But I ended up cleaning up the last of the enemies before a rocket trooper locked onto me. I saw the chicken walker there as well, so I threw my thermal imploder, hoping it would damage a lot. Pretty sure it did next to nothing, so I just punched him and then ran from the ATST. Once I got far enough away, I just spammed him with some ion shots and grabbed my power-ups. I got a proximity bomb, which I placed down. Ended up getting another proximity bomb, which I placed down. And this is where I found out that they can actually blow up your stuff, because he destroyed both my proximity bombs. I ended up getting a squad shield, so I just ran far enough away where he couldn't catch me and hit him with a whole bunch of ion shots till eventually he blew up. And this brought us to wave 13, where I picked up an extra life and just started going balls to the walls. After coming across the heavy, I shielded up so I wouldn't take damage from the snipers and started beating the crap out of them. I ended up getting hit by a sniper and my health goes to 19, so I flank around and take out as many as I can. I end up getting flashbang, so I regroup, and once I do, I'm able to take them out. This leaves me with only 2 left, which both happen to be snipers. I see 2 and decide to take the high ground, so I rush this guy, take him out, and then jump down to attack the other one. This brings us to the end of wave 13 and segues us into 14. Start off 14 by grabbing a charge and taking a couple guys out. And after this, we end up heading around the corner to take some more out. There's a shadow trooper gone invisible, and I'm also getting locked onto by a missile. But I happen to stick it out and end up finishing him off before running away. The last enemy is a rocket trooper, and I stop to smell the roses and appreciate nature, and then I just end up taking her out. This leads us to wave 15, which is the final wave. I started off by grabbing a charge and flanking around to try to clean up some loose troopers. Finish them off, and then a rocket trooper gets stumbled by their own ATST. So I run and grab the pod, try to take cover behind it and force them to come to me. I end up deciding to go up top and kill the sniper after placing on a shield. So I rush out there and do just that. Take him out real quick and then retreat back to the shield. And after I kill a couple more, I'm safely inside the shield again. And once this happens, I'm just waiting for all of them to come to me. So I wait for them to get a little closer, run out, get a couple more kills, and then I go back to run towards the shield, but it's gone. So I try punching, but my shield gets instantly vaporized, and we take our first death. Luckily, I have full lives, so I spawn straight back in there. And after spawning in, I run around and grab the pod again while they're distracted, get an ion shot off, take out a couple more enemies, and this is where it gets crazy because I'm getting shot from all sides, but I managed to stick it out. End up taking cover behind the pod while the chicken walker's fighting, and I end up getting surprised by a trooper who jump scares me, and I kill him. At 7 health, I end up recapturing the pod and running away. And luckily I ran away for long enough to where the pod actually finished charging, so I went to grab the power-ups. After jump packing over them, I ended up getting a proximity bomb, which is kind of garbage in this situation, a squad shield, which I placed down immediately, and I ended up getting a smart rocket, which is huge for us. So I finish off the last shadow trooper, and after killing him, I go for the normal guy. Luckily, he wasn't able to jump pack away in time, so I easily cleaned him up, and then I hit a trick shot on the ATST to secure the first map win without shooting a blaster. The next map, Solus, is actually entirely different. They have probe droids now, and so we end up killing some normal lackeys and then locking onto a probe droid, which you actually have to use electronic weapons for, but luckily we have the ion shot and the jump pack in this one. Sadly though, we do not have a personal shield, so I end up cleaning these guys up and we advance to wave 2. In wave 2, I jump back up to a higher platform and end up taking on a heavy in a 1v1 situation. But while I'm punching the heavy, I end up getting rushed by a normal trooper, so I take him out, jump down, and then clean up his buddies. They're pushing me from all around, so I take cover behind the crates when needed, so it makes it pretty easy. But this brings us into wave 3. And a pod lands, so I capture the pod, and we end up seeing our first TIE fighters. Now these things are a menace. So while I'm cleaning up these guys, they'll be shooting at me from out of nowhere, and they can hit me from any angle. So honestly, I should be making it priority to take these guys out. And the best strategy to do this is not fire while they're flying away, because they can dodge the missile, but you wait till they're coming at you, and then you launch it for a quick, easy kill. This brings us into wave 4, and I capture the power-ups, which gives me a blaster cannon, which is useless, and a vehicle turret, which is actually great. But the next power-up is another blaster cannon, so that pod was garbage. I end up finding an extra life, and straight after this, lock onto a probe droid for the quick kill. I end up fighting all of his buddies here, and after this, we end up going up the stairs and finding a whole squad. Sadly, they were all destroying my vehicle turret, so I beat them all up and then run back up again to finish them off. I start off wave 5 by killing a couple guys hiding around this tank and clean up the rest of them easily enough. I kill a probe droid that was sneaking up on me while I was distracted, and after cleaning up the last of these guys hiding around this turret, I rush the sniper with my jump pack. At the start of wave 6, a drop pod lands right in front of us, so we go straight over to capture it. After this, we end up trying to defend it, but we get overwhelmed and have to run away for a second. I end up killing a TIE fighter straight away because I didn't want it on my ass, and I punch a whole bunch of normal guys. Power-ups end up spawning by this point, but I end up just finishing them off before I do anything else. And now that it was just me and the chicken walker, I end up getting a couple EMPs off on them, get a couple power-ups, which pretty much all suck. I got an infantry turret here, which I'm not going to allow myself to use, but at the time I thought it was a great idea. But as soon as I place it, I thought, wait, it's shooting lasers, which means it's a gun. So I tried punching it, but couldn't. So this is the only time I shoot, and it's to kill my own infantry turret. But I end up cleaning up that ATST and grabbing the last power-up, giving us a proximity bomb. I grab a heart as well, and go straight into the next wave. I got a little too greedy, so after killing all of these guys without running away, I end up getting to the last trooper and getting one shot by him. So I end up spawning in because I have 4 hearts and get straight back into it. Turns out there's actually 2 left, so I kill the jump trooper and then jump down to finish him off. This leads us to the next wave, wave 8. So I go back to the stairs and place down a mine and kill some guys. I watch this side, and as they're coming up, they get taken out. I end up getting really low, so I try hiding. But this guy ends up pushing me, so I have to run out and punch him in the face. I try to run away down the stairs to regain some health, but I'm getting lasered by a heavy. So I go back up top, kill this guy, and try to wait for my health to regen. But we got jetpack troopers on both sides, so I end up jumping down and killing them. And then it's 1v1 with the heavy, which is easy enough. After killing this guy, we move on to wave 9. The pod ends up dropping right in front of us, so we capture it right away and get a quick high damage shot off on the walker. After this, we get rushed by all sides, so we put some work in. I end up getting sniped, so I jump pack away as far as I can and try hiding behind a rock. But at 5 health, a TIE fighter ends up strafing me and killing me. So I spawn back in and get straight back into it. There's still 5+ enemies, and there ends up being 2 TIE fighters. So I clean them both up as quick as I can because I'm not trying to deal with these all day. And after this, I end up just putting some more work in by killing the grunts. I go to grab some power-ups and end up getting a squad shield and end up killing the ATST with the final EMP. After this, I grab an extra life and jump down to kill some guys. When I turn the corner, I realize there's 2 shadow troopers and a couple others, so I placed down a squad shield and I tried to stay inside the squad shield but punch at the same time. But that did not work, so I just jumped away and regrouped. After this, I end up flanking back around, grabbing another power-up, which gives me a thermal imploder, and I get a crazy shot on this guy before flanking back around to kill the shadows. I just made sure to focus on one at a time before picking one off, and then picking off the other. This brings us into wave 11, where I go back to the staircase because it's a pretty decent spot to hold down, and I kill a bunch of jump troopers and normal dudes. And as I'm getting shot from below, I decide to take the top. This guy flies up, and I'm 6 health, so I hide behind this door. Barely evade him shooting at me. And then once he lands, I run out and try punching him. After killing him, I get rushed by a shadow trooper. And I try to stick it out, but I'm just losing too much health. So I try jump packing and running away. As I'm under the stairs, though, I get pushed by a stormtrooper, so I have to run and try killing him. But I end up getting sniped by the other one up there. And I end up having to spend a life. Once I spawn back in, I just rush straight back in there and clean the rest of these guys up. As I'm fighting the shadow, he ends up flashbanging me, but I fight through and end up securing the kill. After killing one more shadow trooper, it brings us to wave 12, and I started off by capturing a pod and taking out a TIE fighter. This leads me to running up top, but I end up throwing my thermal thing, trying to keep them off the pod. They end up capturing it anyways, so I grab another power up, which is a squad shield, end up killing one more TIE fighter, and I try to reclaim the pod, but it blows up in my face. Get a couple more shots off on the ATST, and it counts as a triple kill. I don't know if it's because it's a rocket ATST, but yeah, counted as 3 kills, and I end up killing another shadow trooper. Killing a couple more guys up top. And after this, I just had to kill one more shadow trooper, which was low health, and another guy. And that's the end of wave 12. Wave 13, pick up another life. Use the ion to kill a probe. I killed the last trooper of wave 13, bringing us straight into 14. I go back to the tank. Kill a couple guys before flanking around and getting 4 back shots off on the heavy to finish him off really quickly. And after this, I end up placing down the squad shield, taking out a couple guys here. And I get flashed, so I end up trying to run away because these guys instantly mow through the shield. Luckily, I actually end up getting away this time, and after flanking all the way back around, I jump down to get some quick, easy kills. This brings me to the last shadow, and for wave 15, I do not hold back. After killing one more guy, I've completed the second map without shooting a blaster.
We need to get out of here.
Did someone say they needed a lift?
This brings us to the third and my favorite map, which is indoor. And I use the multiplayer hand, which gives me an ion grenade and an ion torpedo because there's a lot of vehicles. Stormtroopers are alerted and go to find us, so I cut them off and attack them. After spawning in, I run straight for them. And I actually noticed one's on a blaster turret, so I throw my EMP nade here. Does absolutely nothing, so I close the distance, and after seeing there's too many of them, flank around and pick the rest of them off. After this, a whole bunch more spawn out of the trees on wave 2, and I get a triple kill with the ion grenade. I keep throwing it every time it recharges, which it recharges really fast, by the way, which is huge. So you can also use it to stun heavies, which I do a lot in this run, and I just punch the crap out of them as much as I can, leading us to wave 3. On wave 3, I start by killing a probe, throwing my ion, getting the double kill, and getting a third. After this, I capture a pod and throw a Hail Mary to get a kill. I wait for them to come to me and then just get as much kills as I can before retreating to grab the power-ups. I get an infantry turret, but this time I don't place it down. I finish killing a heavy and then I go to grab another power-up. You can actually switch it out, so I switch it out for a squad shield, grab a life, and at the beginning of wave 4, I melee a bunch of guys. For wave 5, I decide to stay up here and just throw a bunch of grenades and pick them off with punches. And after killing the final sniper, brings us into wave 16. I started off by getting a collateral kill with an ion torpedo and 2 probes, and start meleeing a bunch of normal troopers. And this brings me to where I captured a pod and started fighting a chicken walker. You can see how much this ion grenade does to vehicles, so I'm super glad I brought it. But I end up playing around this shield that I threw down until I eventually get the kill on the ATST. And I punch a couple guys who rush me and try to get back to the pod. Unfortunately though, I was pinned down by 2 snipers, so I ended up getting annihilated by one of them. But no biggie, I have 3 lives, so I spawn back in and get back to it. So I head back to finish off the rest of the troopers, and by this time, the pod's finished, so I have my power-ups ready. So I end up grabbing one of those to get a thermal imploder, which is massive for us. And I end up tossing it straight away to clean up a big group of them. Eventually I kill the rest of them, which leads us into wave 8. And I end up grabbing another thermal imploder, which is big. Get a couple kills with the ion grenade. End up running up the massive staircase in the middle of the map and kind of playing around that. Get a couple ion grenades off to stun some heavies, get some kills here, and then I head back up to the very top, and they kind of advanced towards me on the bridge. I scared an Ewok here while I was running away, and as they were coming towards me, got a couple more kills with the ion grenade, ended up running back and throwing my thermal grenade, and this ends up killing both of the jump troopers, but the heavy somehow survived, so I rushed in to finish him off. Once I'm able to do that, I go back, grab another proximity bomb, claim another pod, and place a proximity bomb there to guard it. I end up charging a turret, and the proximity bomb ends up picking up 2 of those guys. And I rush back to protect it, killing a couple more. And this is where I regretted not having the jump pack, because they're able to pick me off super easily. I come around the corner, and there's too many of them, so I have to use another life. But I run back, kill the rest of them, and by this time, I grab another power-up. And it's our lucky day because it ends up being an orbital strike. I end up using that right away to try to get a whole bunch of them. I thought there was a lot more than there was, so it really didn't end up doing much. I got 2 kills out of it. Could have been a lot better. I messed up there. But then I get a blaster cannon, which is useless, and end up also getting a squad shield, which is pretty good. I end up stunning this guy, and mid-combat I end up throwing down the shield. I started getting advanced on, so I thought it would be a good time. After I kill that guy, I end up rushing the little guys and just using the shield as cover. Briefly managed to escape death and flank around to hit the chicken walker with a couple EMPs. And after this, I end up killing the last heavy. And then I hit the chicken walker one more time to finish off the wave. This brings us into wave 10, and I grab the last power up, giving me another squad shield. And after this, I pick up an extra life and kill a probe droid and another probe droid. And then I come to a shadow trooper, kill him pretty quickly. I started getting double teamed by him though, so I ended up placing down a shield. But as I went out, I realized there was actually two. But luckily, I was able to pick them both off relatively easy. Just focused on one at a time. After this, wave 11. Pretty easy stuff. I just used my ion grenade, ran around melee until it was done. I almost died to this last jump trooper, but luckily I was able to pull it off at the very end. That was embarrassing. Survived with 6 health. But the start of wave 12, I went to capture a pod, fended it off with a couple of ion grenades, and just kept the high ground. As they rushed me, I ended up picking off a probe droid, which also got another guy in the crossfire, and ended up doing that again. I ended up getting attacked by the ATST, but the power-up spawned right behind me. I luckily got an orbital strike, so I pivoted, used it immediately, and then the power-up behind me gave me a squad shield so I could protect myself from it. So I placed it down and hid in that while it took out 3 enemies. Ended up grabbing the last power-up and then killing the last 3 enemies to make this go into wave 13. Started off with me running for the next life that spawned, and on the way I had to kill a couple enemies for it. Thermal Imploder ended up getting 2 kills, and I finished off the Shadow after he was downed. Got an ion grenade to knock down a couple more enemies, giving me the chance to run in and smack them to death, and ended up going for the heart. After I picked it up, there was only 5 enemies left, which I cleaned up with relative ease. I couldn't find the last guy, and it turns out he was bush camping like he was playing Fortnite, so I annihilated him. Absolutely none of that in my server. This brings us to wave 14. I ended up getting a Shadow Trooper super early on, which is good for us because we won't have any more of those sneaky guys running around. Ended up fighting a whole platoon of Stormtroopers here, but got overwhelmed, so I flanked around. A Jump Trooper ended up landing directly on me, so after killing him, I tried sticking it on this heavy, but I couldn't quite get it. Luckily, I managed to flank around and kill him later, and I climbed to the top of the tree, got a double kill with a nade, and then jumped down to finish him off. After I killed these 3 guys, it was just me versus a Shadow Trooper, and I clutched the 1v1. I started out wave 15, the final wave, by capturing a pod, and annihilating a probe, and then another probe. Using both my ion shots, I waited for them to recharge, and after they did, I ended up sticking a massive damage nade on a chicken walker, and quickly finished him off with the ion shot. That's a quick triple kill for us. I ended up running past him, grabbing a power up, which ended up being a thermal imploder, and I chucked that, immediately picking off some more guys. We ended up getting some garbage from the power up, and since we can't use that, we switched it out for a blaster cannon, which is somehow even worse, and I decided to just melee the rest of the guys. After picking one more off with a nade, it was just me versus one last guy, and I could not find him. I ran across the entire map before turning the corner and getting jump scared. Turns out the last enemy was a chicken walker. Don't know how he hid from me, but I ended up quickly defeating him. And this takes us to the end of the 3rd map, beating it without even using a blaster.
You're all clear. Head to the transport.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
For the 4th map, I decided Barrage and Thermal Detonator was the loadout to go with, and spawned in.
Anything?
No signs of rebels.
All right, let's keep moving.
Yeah, at least walking will help us keep a bit warmer.
Let him go! We gotta stay near the speeder!
I immediately pull out my launcher and pick off a couple with the double kill before rushing in and punching their ass. This leads me to wave 2, where I ended up getting ran over by a probe droid. I don't know if this is a glitch or if this happens all the time. It's never happened to me before. So I was kind of scared of them for the rest of the map. But for the rest of the game, I ended up using my grenade launcher at range to keep them at bay. And after this, I tried to climb a pod on wave 3, but they all bum rushed me. Luckily, I was able to fend them off and grab a power up. I ended up getting a squad shield, which I placed down immediately, and then grabbed another one, which ended up giving me a proximity bomb, which I also placed down. And luckily, this pro droid was stupid enough to fly into it. So after grabbing another squad shield, we see it blow up, and it was just me versus one other guy. After quickly taking him out, I grabbed an extra life, and for wave 4, I just did some more punching. Somehow, after using a grenade launcher and a thermal detonator, this heavy was still alive, so I had to rush in and finish him off. This started wave 5, which was living hell. After seeing how much damage, or how little damage my grenades did, I knew I was in for a terrible time. And this is sped up 100 times speed. This chicken walker took me 12 minutes to defeat. Luckily, I got him glitched eventually to where he got stuck, but it took 12 minutes of recharging my abilities and just spamming them for him to finally die. But eventually I get him killed, and wave 6 starts. I grab a pod that was in the ice caves and decide to stick around to defend it, picking a quick double kill up with my nades, and then spamming my launcher as well to get another double kill. The guy ended up getting past me, but I killed him and recaptured it. And then, after killing a couple more guys, this brought us to the end of the wave. Sadly, I didn't realize they could capture it well mid-combat, but apparently they can. So I end up recapturing the pod and cleaning up the rest of the guys. Pod is finished, so I grab a power-up, and luckily, hallelujah, I get a vehicle turret. I decided to hold on to that for the rest of the map, but I end up getting a heart and punching a few guys. And as more rush me, I continue to whittle them away. As wave 9 starts, they actually take over the turret by the pod, so I spam all the grenades I have before running in. I then advance on this turret gunner, and luckily, I'm actually able to flank him. After taking him out, I capture the pod and try to defend it from the oncoming waves. The guy actually ends up sneaking up and capturing it, so I recapture it, spam my nades, get a couple kills off, but they end up capturing it yet again. So I go back, capture it for the 3rd time, and as I throw another grenade, they capture it another time. So I recapture it for the 4th time playing tug of war with this guy. And after this, it brings us to wave 10. Once wave 10 starts, the pod is finished. I run down this hallway and spam some nades, picking up a couple kills, and then I run past all these enemies before turning around, and then decide to use my launcher to pick up a couple more kills. I rush in to take out the stunned shadow trooper, but as I do so, a whole squad runs down and I get flashed. So I regroup and grab a life before returning back. Narrowly escaped the shadow troopers with 13 health, and after letting it recharge, I spam my nades to take them out. This brings us into wave 11, where I shoot my grenade launcher to take out a turret, and then after using another nade, I rush in and turn myself into the Doomslayer. I throw my grenade at the last 3 guys to secure a triple kill and bring us into wave 12. I see a pod crash land straight in front of us, so I rush to grab it, and I end up holding it down while they all rush me. I dodge around the pod and avoid them until I get my nades back, and then rush into the huge horde. There's a ton of them, like a lot of them, so I take out a couple with some punches before running away. I thought I escaped with only 7 health to spare, but I got jump scared when I turned around and saw there was a trooper up here. I desperately tried to kill him with a grenade barrage, but he ended up finishing me off, so I had no choice but to respawn. Luckily we had 4 hearts, so it's not too big of a deal. I rush back with my grenade launcher, throw all my grenades at him. Doesn't end up killing any of them, so I regroup and decide to take him out from here. In wave 13, I grab another heart and get straight into the thick of things. I take a couple out with punches by flanking through the ice caves and decide to pull out the launcher. After this, it's pretty much a quick and easy cleanup. Wave 14 is my last wave for preparation, so I spam some nades at a whole bunch of guys rushing me, and use my grenade launcher to pick off some more before rushing in and just punching like my life depends on it. Finally, we are on the final wave, and I instantly place down my vehicle turret before getting an infantry turret, which is garbage, so I switch it out, get a thermal imploder, and prepare for what's to come. I end up getting overwhelmed, so I toss the thermal imploder as a get out of jail free card, pick up 4 enemy kills, and then decide to run because there's too many specials. I get away with a single health remaining and throw a grenade. Once I get fully recharged, I run back through a side hallway to kind of flank them, and I grab a power up, which ends up being an orbital strike, which we will gladly place down on the chicken walker. Next power up we get is a thermal imploder, so I also toss that into the mix and easily clean up this ATST. Not in 12 minutes, thankfully. Thank God. After this, it's just a matter of me and 5 enemies. Grenade's explosion ends up throwing down the shadow trooper, so I use this opportunity to take him out before moving on to the heavy. After dealing with the heavy trooper, we're on the last 3 enemies, so I decide to sprint past the shadow trooper and disrespect him by killing both scouts behind. I then turn around, lob a grenade for the trick shot, and end up killing the last enemy, making it to where we have completed every Star Wars Battlefront survival map without firing a blaster. Thank you guys so much for making it this far into the video. You guys are awesome if you managed to do that. If you disliked it, dislike the video. If you liked it, subscribe and like it. I'm going to do a lot of these challenge runs, a lot of crazy, wacky stuff. Thank you guys so much again, and yeah, have a good one.